Alrighty, howdy traders and investors, and welcome to the Trading Battle number 43, sponsored by ACAP. My name is Gary Fickard, known to many as the FX Big Dog. If you just search the name FX Big Dog, you'll find me on YouTube and all social media. Now, I sleep, eat, and drink trading in all markets, and one of the markets that we're going to talk shop today is the Forex market. Now, if you're watching this Trading Battle on YouTube and you have not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so. Subscribe now. But not only go ahead and subscribe to the channel, but make sure you go ahead and click the notification bell, because we broadcast on a regular basis on this channel. And if you want to be notified, make sure you go ahead and click that notification bell. So when we go live, you'll know about it. Now, while you're down there, go ahead and do me a huge favor. Go ahead and smash the like button and share this video on your social media so we can get this video out to as many traders as possible. Now, today we have two interesting traders, two interested Forex traders with some great stories on how they became Forex traders. And we're going to go into the details of that and, of course, how they became successful as well. They both use technical analysis and fundamental analysis before making trading decisions. So grab a pen and paper, take some notes as we hear from these challenges of how they're going to go ahead and conquer the markets today with our trading trading challenges. It feels like Monday to me. All right, traders, well, let's go ahead and take a look. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our challenges for today's Trading Battle number 49. So in our one corner, we have someone that is known as, especially on YouTube, is known as Trader Nick. Nick is an active currency and commodity trader, a YouTuber, and a founder of a financial news company called A1 Trading. Nick is a 6-year trading veteran with focus on conservative trend following and risk management. Nick, it is great to have you on this Trading Battle today. As a conservative trader, as a conservative trend follower, did you get caught up on the yen sell-off over the last month?
Yes, and thank you for that introduction, Gary. That was very made me sound cooler than I am. So here's the thing. Yes, the yen has been crazy. The whole Forex market in the last year or so has been highly volatile. I'm back on the show. I'm excited. I lost last time, so this time I'm gonna try and win. The last time I went up against somebody who beat me using crypto, so I'm a little salty about it. But today we're gonna be talking currencies. That's exciting. We're gonna be looking at a couple different things. I've got a couple things pulled up, so I'm very excited for it.
All right, fantastic. Well, Nick, great, and good luck for today. So let's go ahead and introduce the other corner. We have Thomas Jackson. Tom started his trading career in the sports marketing. Sounds like gambling, but sports marketing, and we'll find out a little bit more about that. And he started trading currencies back in 2020 when the pandemic started. Now, when trading sports became not an option, he decided to go full-time into currencies. He's now become a profitable trader. And in fact, he's looking at a full-time job as a currency trader by quitting his 9-to-5 job. Tom, sports betting is actually a thing. I believe that there are sports exchanges like I think it's is it Betfair and Matchbook? Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. They're the ones. BetDAC, Matchbook, and Betfair are the three largest. And thank you for the introduction, and you're absolutely correct. I did start my trading career within sports. I first did start off gambling, and that is where I still managed to make a little bit of income today, and it is proving to be harder and harder to get hold of accounts. And that is what led me into trading ultimately. I was trying to find a way to make money out of the markets without relying on other people. So I was looking for fluctuations within prices on, at this time, it was horses. So yeah, I was just trying to take advantage of that. And when that got pulled away in March 2020, I thought I'll try and learn from all the mistakes that I made, blown accounts, not having rules, etc. So I thought I'll have a little bit of a play and see what we can find out there, and stumbled across the world of financial markets, and I have been absolutely hooked and blown away ever since. So yeah, 18 months down the line, and I am just about to walk out of my 9 till 5 at the end of this month. So really exciting. Looking forward to battling Nick today and going up against one of the veterans and one of the nice guys out there on social media. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, and Nick is ready to rock and roll because he's said already he's come to win today, so he's going to be firing at all cylinders. So quickly on the sports on the sports betting, there's exchanges, and these exchanges act like referees. Like in the Forex market, we have market makers. Now, when you go ahead and do all your betting, do you have charts that you actually use and analyze, or is it just really based on data of what it did previously, and you're just combining that? No charting.
So just like in the financial markets, there are certain things that move it. So you could have a fundamental strategy. So you're looking at form, the trainer, the jockey, the ground. So all of the things like the fundamental sides. But then what I was looking at was what I see as at the minute is like reading the tape. So there'll be prices from 0 to 1,000, and money's just moving up and down the ladder, which is pretty much what the tape is. And you're just looking for where volumes coming into the market are buyers or sellers in control. And there's a lot of now third-party software. Like we get the brokers that will do charting analysis, and you can have volume and indicators. So there's all of that, but nowhere near on the scale that there obviously is in the financial markets, which was what blew me away when I stumbled across this. So yeah, sure. that was fantastic, especially coming from a data sort of background within my work role. I like being reliant on data and numbers to make decisions. So it was great to come into the financial world from there.
Sure, absolutely. Now, Nick, you've been a technical and a fundamental trader, and being a conservative trend follower. What leads? Does fundamentals lead your decisions, or does technicals lead your decision?
So I kind of have it's really like three pillars, I guess, to my trading that I focus on most. So fundamentals, obviously, technicals, and then sentiment is kind of a thing as well. Thomas was just talking about looking at the buyers and the sellers and identifying that sort of trend, and that's something that I do incorporate in my own trading. I've never done too much in sports gambling. In fact, I know nothing about sports, and you probably would want to just take the other side of my bets if I was to set a bet on that. But no, I think so for me, it's sentiment analysis, fundamental analysis, and technical analysis, and they're weighted to a degree, somewhat evenly each one. So for me, if I'm looking at say the dollar or something, I'll start usually from a fundamental perspective for a directional bias. Combine that with the sentiment of the market in terms of like COT data, see what institutional traders are doing, as well as retail sentiment, see what the average retail trader is doing. As we know, they tend to lose money, unfortunately. So I like to keep that in mind. So I'm not in the wrong side of the trade too often. And then of course, the technicals are where I actually execute my entries and exits. And actually, Gary, you mentioned earlier, like one thing that you said is, that talking before we were talking on the show, you talked about picking a directional bias and kind of just looking for one side of the trade at a certain point. That's kind of what I do too. So if I'm, for example, looking long bias on something based on fundamentals and sentiment, that's where I'm going to actually start looking at technicals, not for sells, but only for buys. So I usually pick my directional bias, then look for the technical entries. And I think we have a similar style in that respect. So
yeah, absolutely. So, okay, great. Well, that's good. And just a last question on that is, Thomas been involved now in Forex and obviously technical trading for about 18 months. What would your advice be for a guy that's just started 2 years, 3 years in? What is the time that it's going to take? What is the time you need to put aside in order to be able to prepare yourself for a trade? Is it quick for you, or is it because you've been trading for a while? Was it something that you still have a routine or a ritual that you go through every time you trade?
So I definitely have a routine that I try and go through from the start of the day to the end of the day. And I think the more consistent I am with my actions and routine, the more consistent my results are going to be. And that's certainly what I found within the very short period that I've been trading. When I go through patches of complacency, I will often see a little dip in performance. So it's always a nice reminder to keep that routine on point. So I'll go through my analysis in the morning. I'll make sure I've got my bias set for the day on all of my pairs. I'll create my watch list, and then like Nick, I then go down to the technicals and try and find a smaller time frame entry, and then just sort of try and ride something intraday. I'm very much a intraday in and out of the market. I don't hold trades for long at all. I think my average loses about 50 minutes and my average win is about 3 hours. So yes, I'm in and out of the markets pretty quickly.
Okay, good. Now everyone has, and we will dig into, Nick. We're definitely going to dig into more of your style of trading as well as we go into the challenges today. But I think it's important for everyone to know that, everyone has got some sort of mentor when they first started trading, and someone that they've. And Nick mentioned his father that always wanted to get into stock trading, but there's always one person that you can always refer back to and say, if it wasn't for that person, I wouldn't be here today where I'm at. He taught me these things, or at least gave me the stepping stone to move into what I'm doing currently right now. Nick, who is that person? Is there a person that you can go ahead and call out?
It's got to be my dad. My dad, he started a business before me, so a lot of the entrepreneur stuff that I've learned over the time has come from him, as well as he started out in the trading and investing space as well. So we've gone at it together for things for a long time. So he introduced me to this stuff. He's taught me a lot. So it's definitely got to be my dad for both the entrepreneur and the trading and investing stuff. But you're right. There's always that person for each person, that first introduced you, that first inspired you, first got you started on trading, investing, really whatever you're doing. And for me, that's my dad.
You and I run in the same path in some way, because my dad was actually the one that actually got me involved in the financial industry. And you know what he said to me? He said to me one day, I was in construction work. He had a construction business and I was working for him. And he said to me one thing. He says, Gary, if you want to really make some good money, follow the money. And I couldn't understand what he was saying. And what he said to me, he says, get involved where you actually deal with money on a day-to-day basis. And I opened up a brokerage company. I started running a brokerage company, started doing investments. And eventually I met up with a trader. And that trader taught me a couple of things. And I got hooked from that day onwards. And here I am almost 30 years later trading the market still. So it's just that one person, right? All right.
Right.
So we've got challenges today. Nick, Thomas, are you guys ready to rock and roll so we can get these challenges started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, the battle's on, the fight's on. Please, guys, keep it clean. No, I'm just joking. All right, let's just go with the challenges. All right, challenges number one. Challenge number one is technical versus fundamental analysis. Place a trade based on either side, or whether it's fundamental or whether it's technical or whether it's both. So you can choose how you're going to go ahead and approach the market. Challenge number two is, if you could trade one asset from a bulk of your portfolio, which one would it be and why? Challenge number three would be, place a trade for the next 5 days. So whatever that is, whatever you decide on, you guys are going to give me a full breakdown on your technical analysis when you do this trade. So make sure we go ahead and prepare for that. But you're going to place a trade for the next 5 days. So it's a midterm type trade, maybe short-term midterm type trade. Now, viewers, don't forget to subscribe, share, and smash the like button down below. If you don't share the like button, we're not going to get this video out there. All right, and we want to get this video out there to as many traders as possible. So do us that favor, smash the like button. Nick, I'm going to give you the honors to go ahead and start the battle. So the floor is yours, my friend. Challenge number one, technical versus fundamental analysis. Place it based on either or both.
All right. Okay. So no pressure. I got to go first. So right now, if I've got to look at one thing, I'm going to probably start with the US dollar. And people who have been watching me, I've been talking about this and talking about this. I'm long biased, so I'm a little bit in a hard place here, because you could see the dollar has already made its move today. So we've really seen a move to the upside. Doesn't mean it can't go further, but of course the prime real estate was, in hindsight 2020, shoulda, woulda, coulda bought it back down here. So dollar wise, I'm bullish. There are some other things that I could look into. I'm actually kind of interested in potentially looking at the S&P 500. it kind of rolled over a little bit too much. So I'm going to dig around for some trades here, but I do think that fundamentally, I think that we're sort of oriented towards moving back into a risk on environment. Despite the Fed raising rates, which has kept the dollar very strong, we are seeing some other major economies raising rates. For example, we saw Canada raise rates. We've seen the Kiwi raise rates. And there's a couple things I wanted to pull up. So I'm actually going to pull up. This is just kind of our own proprietary software that I wanted to pull up just to see if I can talk a little bit about my bias right now. There's a good mix here of fundamentals and kind of technicals going on. So what we'll do here is you can kind of see it's listing out right now. We've only got 10 things, but we'll start looking at some of these. So my buy bias is probably going to be in this realm. And we'll take a look at that in just a moment. And then, of course, sell bias here. I'm actually going to look at the Aussie dollar. And if I pull up the Aussie dollar here for a second, I'll pull over the chart in just a moment. This thing is getting a sell reading. I like the idea of selling this thing, and there's a couple main reasons why. We talked about using fundamentals and technicals and trying to combine it. When I'm looking at the Aussie against the US dollar, there's some fundamentals and sentiment here that's going to give me my bias first, and then we'll just jump over to the chart and talk about a setup. So the COT data is bearish here. We have the Australian dollar in terms of institutional positioning is bearish overall. So we have not a lot of institutional traders. They're mostly going short. And then the dollar is very much getting eaten up by on the long side from institutional traders. So that gives me a bias to short the Aussie and buy the US dollar. Interest rate divergence, talking fundamentals. The US is still sort of leading the pack in terms of against the Australian dollar. Now that may be different when you're looking at the Kiwi, when you're looking at the CAD, where they have a higher interest rate, etc. But putting that all together, seasonality, that's the only kind of negative thing, meaning that during the month of April, historically speaking, the data here shows us that the Aussie dollar tends to rise. But that's the only positive factor that I see on this list here. So all said and done, I do have a bias to the sell side on the pair. So I'll head back over to the chart and we can take a look. So obviously, I think I missed a little bit of the move here this morning. You can see we already made a move to the downside, but I still think that the Aussie has potential to continue to roll over. So what I'll do here is I'll pull up the let me see if I can get this, the broker here for a second. We'll go find Aussie dollar here. So I am actually going to, as strange as it may look, I'm gonna take this trade because this is the only one that I can really, if it was my own trading and I wasn't being put on a timer, I may wait for a little bit more of a pullback, but I still think that there may be a trade set up here. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and place my trade. And let's say that we're gonna go ahead and just, it's for charity. So I'm gonna go aggressive. We'll go one lot to the sell side here. And sell by market, we're in.
And just something, Nick, just something here. You can put in pending orders if you choose to, if you believe that there could be a pullback and you want to account for that pullback. You can go ahead and place a pending order a little higher and say, hey, I'm going to enter here and use a cost averaging if you choose to. That might not be your strategy, but I'm just saying that that's something you can do if you want.
Sure. Well, and that's a good point. So what I might do is actually, so we have, I just took that trade. I'm still happy with this because if price, basically as long as it doesn't break above this, I am looking at this thing. This thing looks like it's been making lower highs. I do like the fact that it's making lower highs. All said and done, I'm willing to take a short trade here. And like you said, Gary, there may be an opportunity to re-enter if this thing does make a move higher. As long as I see some sort of bearish momentum picking up again, I'll pick up another short trade. But for me right now, that's my number one trade that I'll take for now. Maybe later in the stream, I might even take another one. Who knows? But that's my turn.
Okay, and so you short Aussie, and you've got a lot of data there, and that's fantastic. That's actually that software that is that software you developed yourself with inside the A1 Trading Company?
Yeah, our team has been working on it we've hired developers and stuff. It was if I pull it up just for a second again, let me see if I can just get that off the screen. It's something that we've been working on. It's definitely been a big project, but it's just something that we've wanted for a long time. Finally, just went ahead and spent the investment money to start getting it developed. But it's been something in the works.
Yeah, it looks really good. Great information. Now, the question I have for you, Nick, is what does the dollar index look like, and does that influence your decision? Because we have seen some rally in the dollar index, but what does the dollar index set up technically from a mid or short term perspective?
Yeah. So when I look at the dollar, I'm a trend trader. We talked a little bit about that as we started going. This to me is bullish until proven otherwise. It's kind of like when you go to court, right? You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. sometimes that gets thrown out the window. But, for me as a trend trader, this thing is innocent till proven guilty. And so when I look at this, I'm saying, okay, I want long trades on the dollar. I'm looking at momentum here. We are definitely, in my view, we're extended to the upside. Like my first reaction would be, we're too high. I gotta short this thing. But, as a trend follower, my concept is, okay, well, it doesn't matter if we're high. We can go higher. As long as I enter trades with reasonable risk management, I'm still comfortable to pick up positions. So as we pull back, we'll see if we can get a reaction. It's like you mentioned, cost averaging is an approach. I tend to, instead of like adding more positions to an open trade, I'll just stop out and look to re-enter. It's a similar concept, but that's kind of how I would approach it. So I'm looking to see if we can get a pop off this intraday. If it happens, we could probably get some good risk reward on the Aussie dollar trade that I took. But that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Cool. That's great. All right, fantastic. Well, you are locked and loaded. We do not have the scoreboard today, so we're not going to be able to see who is leading by the end of the session today. But we certainly will go ahead and keep an eye on that and announce the winner next week. So let's go ahead and move to Thomas. Thomas, what have you got for us? We are now short Aussie US dollar. Nick is short Aussie US dollar. What have you got for us?
So I have, like Nick, a lot of the moves that I was looking at today have already happened. So I am having to adapt on the fly very quickly. I would definitely probably be on the golf course or in the pub by now if I wasn't live and doing this for charity. So I have, a little bit like Nick, I try and follow the trend. Being relatively new to trading, I want to try and get as many people on my side and in the direction of my trades that I'm taking. So even though I'm only taking trades for a few hours, I want to try and make sure that I've got higher time frame alignment. So again, very simply, absolutely nowhere near as advanced as Nick. Just start my day by going through the higher sort of time frame sentiment and just purely looking at 8 and 21 EMAs. And just trying to get all of these in alignment. And then what I'm really looking for is just breakout of key levels, then being intraday levels, high of days, yesterday's high of day, and then even weekly high of days or low of days if we're shorting. And then all I'm looking for really is I'm trying to perfect the pullbacks and getting short or long, depending on how we come back to them zones. And then just trying to catch a small piece of the trend. So I think really, for the last sort of month or so, I've been shorting a lot of euro pairs. I focus mainly on the pound and euro because I'm in the UK, so I trade the London session. So I do try and stick to them as much as possible. I don't really get too involved in anything outside of that. So euro CAD was something that I was looking at today. I really like on the daily time frame how we've been sort of making steps down, we've been consolidating, and then what I'm really looking for is the retests of what was previous support turned resistance, and you can see that I've got a couple of zones marked out where I've been looking for shorts depending on how we move back to them zones. So today, I think for this challenge, I was watching this level at around 136.6 for shorts, knowing that we've got the higher time frames in a bearish trend. I was hoping to see a breakdown of this level at some point this week, and we have just got it on the breaking news today. So I would be looking now to take shorts if we could get a little bit more of a potential pullback to this level, which we may do later today at some point. But seeing as we haven't right now, I'm probably going to take a short on Euro CAD, especially given the sentiment from the ECB earlier and the CAD correlation to oil. So I'm going to short ECAD for now.
So Euro CAD short, right? Is that what you said?
I am. I'm going to stick it into the ACAT now. All
right. So Thomas, while you're putting that trade in on the Euro CAD short, I noticed that you've got it in the background there called the Kaizen Trader, Kaizen Trader, which means change for the better, right?
It does, absolutely.
How did you get that?
So it's a Japanese philosophy, and It's something that I've tried to implement in all areas of my life, whether that's in work, relationships, trading, and it's the philosophy of trying to get better through small changes and regular reviews. So you put in something in place, you're trying it out, and you're making a small change, you're reviewing it after, and if it works, you start again. And it's just through constant, consistent change and just, I suppose, trying to get better through that, really. And I thought it's something that I've tried to implement in my trading, and it's something that has stuck ever since.
No, that's good. It's interesting. All right, great stuff. Well, thank you for sharing. So you're short on Euro CAD at the moment right now, right?
I will be very, very shortly, yes.
Okay, and stop losses of that, are you placing stop losses? Are you using a sort of a multi-level entry point strategy, or is it just a single one?
So I will definitely be using a stop loss, yes.
Okay. All right. And profit targets, do you tell us what your profit target is going to be on this trade as well?
So I won't have a specific profit target on this. I'm going to definitely let it ride. And given the fact that there's not much below where we are currently, and we've just broke the new lows on the daily, I am going to try and trail a stop behind this over the next sort of 4 or 5 days.
Okay. Okay, cool. So you're going to just monitor that over the next 4 to 5. Now, by the way, guys, you can go ahead and close out your trades, but you cannot enter new trades after the show today. So no re-entries, except, of course, if you've got a pending order sitting there, that'll be valid. But if you're going to place a new manual trade, that cannot be done after the show. So you can go ahead and manually close out positions, but not add new positions. So I just want to make sure you guys have got that and understand the rules. Okay, good stuff. Nick, your target, you didn't mention a target. Are you going to let that one ride as well and monitor that on the?
Yeah, so I'm with that Aussie dollar idea. As it comes down here, my idea is very similar. I like to trail stops, and ideally, if this thing wants to break the structure, if we want to continue lower, we've got these lower highs, that would be great. And at that point, I'll probably look to trail stops to break even. Should we hit about a 1R, if we float, 1 times my risk, which in this case, I guess would be, let's see, how many pips is that? So 94 pips. So at 94 pips, we'd be looking to trail stops to break even, and from there just see if I can let it run for the rest of the 5 days. Ideally, this thing would just break and continue. If it doesn't, we'll stop out above structure. So that's how I would approach that. I think I might also maybe be interested in looking at gold here for a second. Let me see if I can get an eye on gold here for a moment. So gold here today is crazy. We're seeing some volatility intraday, and I think I may actually want to pick up a long trade here on gold just to add more chaos to my list of positions. I like gold. So if I go back to my thing here for a second, I was pulling it up just while Thomas was looking at some things. So gold here, slight strong buy, or actually strong buy reading here now from the Edge Finder, which is the software that I use. Retail sentiment, people tend to be shorting gold right now, which for me gives me a slightly long bias. We tend to see this as a market trends higher. The retail traders tend to pile into, against the trend kind of thing, and that can be an interesting metric by itself. Seasonality this month historically seems to be a positive one for gold. That dotted dark blue line is showing us seasonality to the upside for gold during the month of April. So all said and done, I think I might want to take a position on gold here. So let me see if I can pull gold up for a second and maybe see what we can do there. So let me see if I can. Let's see, is it default? Nope, let me just add it. So XAU USD. We'll pull up gold and new chart. Yeah, so this one's pulling back here this morning. I'm going to go ahead and take a position long. We're at structure. This one looks pretty dang good to me. So what I'll do is I'll actually take a position here, and we'll do a smaller lot size from our less volatile Aussie pair. But we'll go ahead and buy. Yeah, we'll do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a stop probably just below structure here. So a little bit tighter of a stop loss. And in this case, what are we risking? $380 on the account. We're being aggressive here, but it's for charity, and we'll see how it runs. But same concept, idea being, can we get a return back to the highs? If so, that'd be awesome. I'd probably look to start trailing that stop and letting it run. So we'll see if we can get anything going here on gold, but very volatile this morning. So we'll just we'll have to watch it, see what happens.
And 380 being aggressive, I would have gone and said, hey, how much margin do I have? What can I risk? I'm just kidding.
Oh, so you're saying to add more to it. Got it.
Hey, so Nick, and by the way, Thomas, we'll give you also an opportunity for challenge one to go ahead and put another trade in so that you have an option to not just trade the one, but place another one. So in the meantime, look and see which currency pair you want to trade. But I want to ask Nick a question here regarding the news that just came out with the ECB. ECB decided to keep the rates unchanged. We can see in the statement this morning that, or at least in the conference, that they really don't have any sort of like urgency to go ahead and raise rates, but yet the inflation's still it's actually up now to 5.1%. Do you think they're making a mistake by not raising rates, at least starting, and that they might get into a situation where they're going to start becoming a lot more aggressive, but it's too late?
Yeah, so those are good. Those are good talking points for sure. So the ECB this morning, the thing for me, I'm pretty short bias on the euro right now, fundamentally, and I think there's an argument for raising rates. We've talked about that, Gary, on some of the A1 trading streams and stuff like that. We've talked about that before, where inflation is out of control worldwide. It's a little bit less in Europe, but so are some of the other metrics. And if you look, pull up my screen for just a moment, we can look at, comparatively speaking, like the euro area compared to like the US. And people are asking, why aren't they raising rates? Why aren't they as hawkish as the US? Why isn't the Fed? Yeah. Well, if we look at some simple comparison charts, here's the GDP for the European area for the last few months. And you can see there has been some growth, but comparatively speaking, where we see the US raising rates and a bit more aggressive, still to some degree, in my opinion, a bit conservative with it, but much more growth, right? Stronger growth, stronger bounce back GDP wise, quarter over quarter. We're seeing good growth in the US, whereas in Europe, it's a bit lagging. And that's not news. That's kind of been the story for the last decade, it feels like. But then you look at like unemployment comparison, we can see the European region still at 6.8% comparatively speaking to the US, which is at 3.6%. And when we talk about central banks, we talk about things like the ECB or the Fed or what have you, it's all about comparatively speaking, because they're all kind of in each other's ear. If the US is raising rates, the other parts of the world are like, oh man, we need to be raising rates too. We need to be, faster. And to me, the story just seems to be that the European area is lagging right now, and that's nothing new. So for me right now, that gives me a short bias on the euro until we see something that's incredibly hawkish. We've seen some pops from the ECB, a little bit more hawkish here and there, but what have we seen? Right afterwards, fading it, strong fade, because yes, there may be some hawkishness, but the Fed is still on top for the time being when comparing the two majors, the euro and the dollar.
Yeah, absolutely. And normally in most cases before we started having these inflationary issues, anytime they raise the rates, it's always been a good thing for their currency pair. And we saw with the New Zealand dollar, the Kiwis decided to raise the rates, not 25 basis point, but 50 basis point, and actually shocked the market. And we saw a big sell-off on the New Zealand dollar and not the normal rally that we'd see in the currency pair. So it actually created a little bit of a different sentiment on the market.
Right. It's been a very interesting time with the, we had the pandemic and we had, interest rates get slashed across the world. Europe kept it at 0%, but, a lot of places really slashed that. And now there's kind of this race back to, interest rates. And we've been watching that unfold. And truthfully, for currency traders, if you're a fan of volatility, it's been excellent because, interest rate news and rumors and drama, that causes the pairs to go crazy. And if you're able to capitalize on that, it's actually a good thing. In fact, 2018, 2019, much quieter times compared to 2020, 2021 in the currency market. And for me, I'm a big fan of that volatility because it can create some excellent trends.
Sure. Absolutely. All right. Good stuff. Let's go back to Thomas. Thomas, you got that trade for us on the for that challenge one. Do you have a second trade? Do you want to play second trade, or are you good to go on just the Euro CAD?
No, I am going to play the next trade. I am going to go a little bit off piste. It was interesting to see Nick discussing gold actually, because that was one of the pairs that I was bullish on today as well. Given the fact that we've got higher timeframes, all in alignment and in trend. But what I was looking for specifically earlier was the break to the upside today above yesterday's highs and a push off from there. But we do have this level that I think Nick is taking it off to buy it off, which was really interesting, because that was definitely an area I had marked for my personal trading that I was going to take it off. But I can't take the same trade as Nick. That is not in the spirit of the game.
Well, you could take it, but maybe you could take it with a bigger size so
I
that
was
you
gonna
either
say that.
beat me or lose.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
So I'm going to take the other side of the coin, and I am going to short the S&P 500. And the reasons why is I like the lower highs that we are making from its highs back in March, making lower lows, lower highs. We've got this zone around the 44.5 where we've used this previously as support. We've broke below and we're holding underneath it. We've got the 8 and 21 EMAs in a short-term downtrend. So I am going to take a short on that, seeing as we failed to break above this. So on the 15 minutes, I'm going to short it with a pretty tight stop, and I will be looking to take it to the zone at the bottom of sort of ADR in this 43.9. So that's going to be my second trade.
Okay. All right, there we go. So we've got 2 trades in for Nick, 2 trades in on for Thomas as well on the Euro CAD and S&P. So excellent. Unfortunately, we do not have the scoreboard, so we're not going to be able to see exactly what the trades are doing currently right now. But if you guys can go ahead and give us just a quick update after our next challenge. So let's go ahead and get our next challenge started while Thomas is busy throwing that trade in. Let's jump into our next challenge. Our next challenge is going to be if you could trade one asset. Now, you guys have really gone in and put something out there on gold and S&P. Maybe that's not going to be the option. But if you're going to place one trade on one asset from the bulk of your portfolio, and both of you shared your portfolio based on gold and, of course, S&P, which one would it be and why? So let's go ahead and start off with Nick. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back on to you. What would be your next trade?
So question for you, Gary. So with if you could trade one asset for the bulk of your portfolio, do you mean as like, okay, I have to place one trade and sit on it forever? Or do you mean I can only going here on out one asset for the rest of my trading career? Which version do you mean?
So there's no defined really limitation to this, but keep it in mind that we're only going to do this for the next 5 days. So in the next 5 days, trades are going to be closed out. So really look at this and say, okay, out of my whole portfolio, which one is looking hot right now that I can make the most money in the next 5 days?
Okay. Yeah. So obviously, I took the 2 trades that I like most: the Aussie short and the gold long. If I had to pick between the 2, I like gold. I think gold to the upside is kind of my. I would go stronger on that one. If I had to knock out one of the trades and keep the other, even though the Aussie dollar is starting out stronger, I like the rejection here. I like that we're sitting at support. 5 days away, I think that gold is kind of in momentum to the upside. And we often see that when gold is chugging, it tends to not want to stop in the short term very easily. Sure, I could be completely wrong about this, and in 5 days, I look like a fool for saying that. But for me, I like the risk to reward. And, as with any, we're having fun here. We're doing the competition, but with any trade, right? We understand that there's a stop loss in the trade for a reason. There's a risk to the trade that we're taking. There's a risk that you have to kind of accept. And of course, this is for charity. So if I had to pick one trade to hold on to, it's going to be gold to the long side for the time being. See if we can hold these lows and stop out if otherwise.
Okay, so no additional trade. Just stick with gold and stay with that one.
Yep, sticking with gold.
All right, cool. All right, Thomas. You have a choice to go ahead and add another position or decide to keep your S&P if that was your top trade.
I am definitely going to keep my S&P trade, and if I get the opportunity, I am definitely going to add to it. Seeing as that's in profit, I like both of my trades as they stand right now. The EuroCAD short and the S&P short.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to hold on to my S&P for now.
Now
No
you
more
used to be
additional trades.
you used to be a sports bettor, and now you're only going to stay with that. You're not going to throw in more and just keep loading the bus.
I might increase my size,
There we go.
especially
There we go.
as Nick is buying gold. I might look to increase and double down.
You see, there we
We've
go.
got to use the margin up, right?
There's the old Thomas coming back again. All right. Okay. So, are you doubling down on S&P?
I'm gonna. I am.
Okay.
I'm going to use a lot of the margin up for charity.
Nick, are you going to stick with just that one trade, or thinking about doubling up?
You're making me. I'm feeling FOMO right now, and in a real trading account, or if I was really trading my own money here and it wasn't just for charity, I wouldn't. But you know what? If Thomas is doing it, if everyone's jumping off a bridge, I'll jump off a bridge too. You know what? It's going to be fun. So let me add another trade to my goal just to make it more aggressive. We'll double the position. There we go, and we'll go ahead and drag that stop there as well. Same trade, basically just doubled it in size. So we are making plays here. Let's see if gold can hold. And I might actually, shortly after this, take it on my own personal account. I like gold long.
So traders that are watching, everyone, the viewers that are watching here, just remember, every trader has a demon on their shoulder telling them to do things that they should not be doing, all right? And so it's important to make sure that you have a proper plan put together. Stick to your plan and don't allow the demon on your shoulder to be able to tell you different things, right? You stick to your plan, because that happens a lot. Sometimes when we're trading and we're in profit and you've been in, let's say, drawdowns for a few hours, and you're suddenly now in profits, the first thing that you hear in your mind is like, oh, I got to take my profit, got to get out of this trade. I was in drawdowns. I don't want to be in there again. Let me go ahead and close out. And you end up cutting yourself short. You end up taking your profit a little early. Or there are times where the market's got to your target, and again, that whisper in your ear saying, hold on to that trade. It's going to go further. Stick around. And then you do that instead of taking your profit, and the market turns against you, only for you to get stopped out. Remember, traders, build up a trading plan and trade that plan. When you divert away from that, it is normally going to be a worst case scenario. All right, so very good. All right, good stuff. So we've got challenge number 2 done. We've got both traders doubling up on their positions, double down on the S&P 500 as well as gold. And we're going to move to the next challenge, which is the 5-day trade, which means place a trade that you believe in the next 5 days is going to give you the most profit on that position. So I'm going to go to Thomas. Thomas, I'm going to give you the option right here. What is going to be your trade? Triple down?
I might have to. I might have to. Being a very short-term trader, holding a trade for 5 days is not something that I am used to at all. I did have my longest trade of my very, very short career this week of 12 hours on Bitcoin. So yes, that was interesting. But in regards to the 5-day trade, I am going to take a gamble on Euro GBP. I am going to short Euro GBP with the bearish trend that we've got on the daily, and this zone at sort of 130, 0.83 even, broken today on the news. And with the French election on Sunday, I am going to short euro against the pound for my 5-day hold, and I will see you on Tuesday.
All right. I like that. I like that. So euro pound short, euro pound. Is that right?
Euro pound short, yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Nick, let's swing it over to your side.
Sure.
Are you going to go ahead and check, or are you going to raise?
We're really at the tables now, huh?
We're at the table, right?
You know what? Let me do a little scouting. We've got some time here. Let me just do a little bit of scouting, see if I can find something I actually would like outside of what I've already got in. Because for the viewers, we're not just going to triple down, although that would be kind of exciting. We'll add more diversity to the list here. See what else we can get into. So I'm kind of neutral on USD CAD, SPX 500. We took a short on Aussie dollar. We took a long on gold. I'm going to look around the yen pairs. You know what? We talked about yen pairs. We talked about how maybe there's some excitement there we could cover. First of all, JXY, if we take a look at the Japanese yen, you can see this thing has gotten absolutely beaten up. It's like just taken out to the back door. I mean, okay, so Japanese yen is really, really low. And I personally, as crazy as it sounds, I'm a bit more bearish on this one. It's tough to short here. I'm not gonna lie. It's a tough short to justify. However, maybe the euro yen on the long side could be an interesting one. I'm sort of short bias on the euro, so this wouldn't be my favorite one. But compared to the yen, I think I'd prefer the euro. Let me see what else I can find. USD JPY may be interesting, kind of top heavy, so I can't really justify that one. And GBP JPY. This could be in a very, very aggressive buy. Probably not taking myself, but for the sake of the video, maybe we'll think about pound yen. Last time I was on here, I got beaten up by pound yen. So last time I was on the trading battle, what I did is I actually went long on GJ. I think it was around here, and I stopped out just before it continued, which is, of course, a very painful experience that everyone here watching probably has felt before. Stop losses can be really, really frustrating sometimes, but they're like that insurance policy that you got to pay for every month, but you might need it someday. So anyways, if I'm picking off this list, I guess I'm going to go with euro yen. So if I go take a look at euro yen one more time, it's a bit aggressive, but we are bouncing off this level of support here. We broke out of this consolidation. We held it once, looking at potentially holding it twice. So just for the sake of being aggressive here, I like the idea of potentially just retesting that high one more time. So maybe what I'll do is I will go ahead and just take my euro yen long. Let me see if I can get euro yen added. Euro JPY. There it is.
Now, are you sure you want to do that, or do you want to call a friend? I'm just checking.
We're switching games, Gary. Now we're doing Jeopardy. We're doing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We're doing sitting at poker tables. I don't have a friend to call today, so you know what? We're gonna take the euro yen trade.
So here's long in euro yen. All right, fantastic. Yep. Okay, good. So now I'm not one to follow the rules. A lot of people know me when they trade with me, so I'm not one to follow the rules as much as I should be. But I'm going to go ahead and throw in a bonus challenge here. I know we only got the 3 challenges, but you know what? Let's get crazy. Bonus challenge for you guys. It's a yes, I'll take the trade, or a no. I'm going to give you a trade, and you're going to make a decision whether or not you're going to take the trade or walk away from the trade. So I'm going to go ahead and be absolutely crazy and say US dollar JPY, sell. US dollar JPY, sell. Now, I heard a lot of what you said on the dollar index, Nick, and I get everyone's view on what the yen's going to do. So this is the deal. US dollar JPY. I'll tell you why I'm thinking sell on US dollar JPY. We're hitting a lot of highs. In fact, let me see if I can share my screen here.
Get it up. Get it up.
Let's get it up. Let's get it up. All right, let's see if we can share my screen. Let's see if we can. Perfect. Okay, here we go. So my reasoning behind this, look at the far left right here. A lot of resistance coming off the far left right here. If I look at my wave structure, and I am an idiot wave trader, we have the wave 1, 2, and 3, a very extended, overextended wave 3. We're looking at, if you go closer up to the market sitting right here, you see this rising wedge with a bit of divergence. So we've got negative divergence as well. I'm thinking that the turning point is going to be this week, and then in the next 5 days, we should see the yen starting to drop back down south again, even if it's just a recovery move. So I'm going to say short the US dollar JPY. Is that a yes for you, Nick?
So here's the thing. I love that you did this, Gary. This is fun. So the thing that I'd love to say, I know for those of you guys watching in the audience, I've known Gary for a while. We've been doing stuff on the A1 trading. We have different styles, and it's perfectly fine, because the cool thing is it's a great example of how people can have different styles, different approaches, and still make money. Gary, what I know tends to do a lot of times is, and correct me if I'm wrong, you tend to trade both directions. You'll trade the pullback, you'll trade the trend continuation, and I've seen you do it over and over with a lot of success. So I personally wouldn't short dollar yen. It doesn't mean, though, that you can't make money. To be fair, I wouldn't go long dollar yen either. If we look at my screen for just a second, what we're talking about here is a move that's extended substantially, right? So we've had this big move, and Gary's talking about, would you trade the fade? And although for me, this is not where I'm comfortable, I definitely understand that dollar yen is extended like crazy. So it's kind of, for me, it's like going long here is playing musical chairs, and going short here is like trying to fight against a train coming at you. You can be very careful with it, but there is potential. For me, Gary, just to add on for my personal perspective, if I was to short dollar yen, I would just add one constraint. I would just like to see, if I had to take a sell, if I was trading that pullback, just show me something. Show me a breakout. Show me a little bit of failure. Show me something to get me in there. But I totally think, and I agree with you, that dollar yen is extended like crazy. There's probably a beautiful sell move coming. It's just a matter of time. And for me, it would have to be, okay, sell move potentially coming. Show me that sign of a breakout. And then totally with you. I think that we retreat. And like you said, even if it's just a pullback in the grand scheme of things, that sell-off could be pretty aggressive. So I'm definitely with you. I think that dollar yen is probably due for a corrective move somewhere here soon.
All right. Well, let's speak to a gambler. Thomas, are you going to take that trade?
I absolutely would take that trade, and I was looking at the weekly chart on USD JPY, and I see what you are looking at. And if we look all the way back to the left to 2003, this 126 has definitely provided some resistance in the past. We have had a pretty big move up to the upside over the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks. I'm definitely with Nick that I wouldn't buy it, but I don't like calling tops. And it feels like this would be calling a top, but there is nothing to say that it wants to go up and above this, as it hasn't before. So I would be looking to short this very soon, but once we get that opportunity. So I am going to take the gamble. I am going to short it. And I nearly was going to take the opposite of Nick's trade with the EJ buy, with the EJ sell, looking left as well at a similar price point in the past. So looking left, but I'm not going to. I'm going to hold
man.
tight.
You totally should. Make it interesting. Sell my buy. Let's see what happens.
I'm going to sell the buy. Well, that's how markets are made, right? Somebody
That's
has
right.
to be,
There's got to be a buyer.
taking the opposing trade.
I'm ready for it.
But no, I'm not going to. But I am going to take the UJ sell.
All right. So
I'm going to call it up.
There we go. Okay, so you're selling.
Braver
So you're
soul than I,
basically
for sure.
you're basically saying stronger yen over the next 5 days. Either that or selling euro, saying euro is going to continue to weaken, and the yen is just going to sit there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, so you did not take the US dollar JPY trade, right?
You want me to take it on 8 cap, yeah?
Yeah, correct. Yes.
I will take it on 8 cap.
All right, perfect. Okay, so he is taking on that channel. Fantastic. Well, that's the bonus trade. Good stuff, exciting stuff. Let's see what it does. Let's see if that turns out to be the pivotal point or pivot point of his results at the end of the 5 days. Maybe that was a bonus trade that you should have taken, Nick. I don't know.
Maybe so. You know what? Maybe I'll be kicking myself tomorrow. But definitely an interesting perspective. And Gary, you bringing that up with the whole yen concept right now is fascinating. It's a market extreme that we haven't seen in a while. A move like this, and from just my personal experience and probably yours as well, they usually end really ugly. Like when that hype train ends, and maybe it's something from the Bank of Japan, or maybe it's something from the euro and the dollar, or maybe it's just a big risk off move that comes back in and causes the yen to spike. Something's going to probably be around the corner, and that turnaround with all this pumped up, hype, could end ugly. Even if I'm a dollar bull and I like it to the upside overall. I understand that there is a point where markets get overexcited and that turnaround can be a bit ugly.
Yeah. And if you actually look at history and look at a lot of the JPYs, and this happens a lot, anytime you have a JPY cross that's been a strong rally based on Bank of Japan weakening their own currency, whether it's an actual decision they've made, or if it's just rumors of something that's going to happen, normally when the markets are topping out so high, you see a very aggressive move to the downside. And I'll be honest with you, looking at this for the last 20 years, I'm expecting that this is going to be the same sort of scenario on all the JPY crosses over the next. I'm not saying it's going to happen in the next 5 days. If it does, bonus. If it doesn't, I'm saying when it does start dropping, we're going to see a very aggressive move. It happened with the pound JPY back in 2016, I think it was. So I think it's going to be the same scenario. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. All right. Nick, did you want to say something?
No, I was going to say you're definitely spot on with that. I think that the Bank of Japan is touchy when they have a lot of unchanging policy a lot of the time, and it's so when something does change, it's a dramatic effect, and so we'll see if that happens here with the yen. Like I said, I think that momentum is tough for me to jump in front of for now, but if we start to see it fade, there may be some excellent risk off trades to come in with it.
All right, well, good. Well, we'll take a look and see how that plays out. In the meantime, let's go ahead and share with the viewers, Nick, if you can, share the viewers, firstly, number one, who's your charity of choice? Tell us why you chose that charity of choice. And then also let the viewers also know how they can get in touch with you, how they can get in, to get you to know a little bit more about your trading style and what you do. Go ahead and share that with the viewers right now.
Sure. So the charity that I chose was ECPAT, or ECPAT. It is for sex trafficking and combating that here. It's a charity in the U.S., which I definitely feel is a good cause, and hopefully we can win some for them. And then if you'd like to find me, you can just search up my username on YouTube, Trader Nick, or used to be Instagram, but I'm currently fighting with a disabled issue. So don't look me up on Instagram. You just find a bunch of fake accounts. Find me on YouTube, Trader Nick. And I just appreciate being here. Thank you guys for hosting this.
Yeah, and also a reminder, everyone, A1 Trading, I actually broadcast on A1 Trading as well on a Wednesday. So, guys, make sure you go ahead and check out A1 Trading YouTube channel. There's a lot of great traders on there that actually do some great trading analysis, including the guy on Wednesday, and that is FX Big Dog, me. I'm just kidding. All right,
it's a good show. Don't miss it.
It is a good show. Tom, let's go ahead and share with the viewers as well. How can the viewers get a hold of you, learn a little bit more about your trading style, and also talk to the viewers about your charity of choice as well?
Yeah, so thank you. My charity is the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. So this is something that's close to me and my family, having a couple of family members that are adversely affected by this so that they are affected by MS, so it is close to me, and so I do want to give back and support these. So please go and check them out and donate where possible. They are always looking for funding for new research to help people in the future and get rid of this nasty disease. But in regards of getting hold of me and finding me, I am on Twitter and Instagram, and it's at the Kaizen Trader. You will also find me on a new sort of project with Austin Silva called ASFX TV, where I will be live streaming my trades and trading recaps on Mondays and Thursdays. So please go and check out ASFX TV and at the Kaizen Trader on Instagram and Twitter.
Fantastic. Well, viewers, definitely check out both the Nick and Thomas's social media and YouTube channels. Check them out. They got a lot of great content that they're going to be talking about and sharing with everyone. You may want to go ahead and connect with them. Subscribe to the channel. Smash the like buttons on all the videos. Make sure that you guys go ahead and check them out on also Twitter, Instagram, social media, whatever social media that they share as well. So that's fantastic, guys. Thank you very much, man. This is great. I want to go ahead and thank Nick and Thomas. Thank you, guys. It's been absolutely awesome hosting this session with you guys. I'm always learning something new, and I'm sure the viewers have learned something new today as well. So that's great. And this is why we have these trade battles, right? Knowledge is power. So knowledge is power. So which means that anything that we share here on these on these channels, whether you walk away with something or walk away with nothing with regards to trading, at least you learned something different about the markets and how the markets move. So knowledge is power, and keep accepting any sort of information that you get about new strategies, new ways of trading the market, new advice about how to be able to deal with your emotions in trading as well. So it's always important there. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate that. Now, before we go ahead and say goodbye to everyone, I want to go ahead and thank 8cap for sponsoring these sessions and these trade shows. And as a show of appreciation, let's go ahead and subscribe to the channel, share this video, and smash the like button like there's no tomorrow. All right, go ahead and do that. Thank you once again, challengers. I'm Gary Fickard, wishing you joy, success, and lots of profit. Until next time, happy trading.
Thank you. Cheers.